Some players have no problem throwing their teammates right under the bus when things go south.
Talking about our idiot kicker who got liquored up and ran his mouth. He has ruined kickers for life.
From brutal post-game interviews to finger-pointing on social media, we're going to be checking out 10 of the most heinous instances of a player throwing their teammate under the bus. Ben Roethlisberger on wide receivers. Ben Roethlisberger is no stranger to controversy, and in 2018, he found himself at the center of another firestorm after publicly criticizing his receivers. The incident came following a tough loss to the Denver Broncos, in which Roethlisberger threw a game-stealing interception. But of course, Big Ben didn't hesitate to point fingers. In fact, he singled out Antonio Brown, blaming the star receiver for running the wrong route on the play, criticized rookie James Washington for dropping a pass earlier in the game, and he even took a shot at defensive coordinator Randy Fishner for not calling Juju Smith-Schuster's number enough on the final drive. Hey, newsflash, Ben, you're the quarterback. You can call whoever's number you want, especially in the closing minutes of a tight game. By the end of the season, Brown was demanding a trade, and Roethlisberger's leadership style was called into question. Steelers' locker room seemed divided, and Big Ben's public airing of grievances was one of the key factors in that team's eventual collapse. Terrell Owens on Jeff Garcia. Now, we all know T.O. has always loved the spotlight, and he wasn't about to let a little thing like respect get in the way of taking shots at his former quarterback. He was a regular critic of his quarterback with the Niners, Jeff Garcia, while he was with the team. But man, once he set sail for Philly, it hit a whole new level of venom. On HBO's Inside the NFL, Owens said that he would have posted better statistics in San Francisco if he had played with a strong-armed quarterback like his new Philadelphia teammate Donovan McNab. He, Garcia, threw the ball behind me out of bounds, Owens said. I left a lot of touchdowns on the field throughout the last 2 or 3 years. As we said before, Owens has never been one to shy away from speaking his mind, and this was one of many moments where he made sure that the world knew who he blamed for his shortcomings. Zach Wilson on Jets defense. Zach Wilson's brief tenure as the Jets starting quarterback was, well, to put it lightly, a disaster. One of the lowest points came in 2022 after a brutal 10-3 loss to the New England Patriots, during which the Jets' offense was absolutely non-existent, managing just 103 total yards and a measly 2 yards in the second half. After the game, when asked if he had felt the offense had let the defense down, Wilson's response was short and stunning. No, essentially rebuking any responsibility for the loss and managing to cast aspersions onto a defense that allowed a mere 10 points.
As an offense, though, I mean, when you guys are only able to score 3 points, the defense only lets up 3 points. I mean, do you feel like you let the defense down at all?
No.
If only he were as good at playing quarterback as he was sheltering himself from blame in the media. Baker Mayfield on Duke Johnson Jr. Long before Baker Mayfield's revival with the Buccaneers, he was supposed to be the guy in Cleveland, where they drafted him first overall. But there were times as a young quarterback appointed into a leadership position that the outspoken Mayfield may have missed the mark. Like the way he handled his teammate Duke Johnson Jr.'s trade request. When speaking to reporters, Mayfield made his frustration that Johnson Jr. missed all the voluntary portion of the offseason program while demanding a trade following the signing of Kareem Hunt known. Going on to say,
that's something that we've been dealing with for a while. If we have guys that want to be here, they'll show that, they'll voice that. Obviously, he's going to handle his stuff how he wants, but you're either on this train or you're not. It's moving. You can get out the way or you can join us, so it is what it is.
But of course, Mayfield did not stop there with his criticism.
Self-inflicted. It is what it is. It's not awkward for anybody else in this building. He's got to do his job. He said he's a professional. I hope he does his job.
Apparently, his remarks did not sit too well with his teammates. And yeah, rightfully so. That's the code in the NFL. Players do not comment on others when they're trying to protect their livelihood and their pockets, even when the competitor in them really wants to. Brandon Marshall on Jay Cutler. Our younger fans may not know it, but there was actually a time that former Denver Broncos and Chicago Bears star wide receiver Brandon Marshall was among the top names in the league at the position. He wasn't just a big physical receiver either. He had a unique ability to build or destroy the culture of a team. I mean, for a time there, he was the heart and soul of the offense for the Chicago Bears. He and Jay Cutler were best friends. The whole thing was just beautiful, idyllic. And when things didn't go well, plot twist. You better believe he wasn't gonna stay quiet, and it wasn't uncommon for one of his teammates to end up in the crosshairs of his eruption. Take, for example, the infamous incident that took place after a disheartening 27-14 loss to the Miami Dolphins in 2014. Marshall reportedly erupted in the locker room to the point that reports could hear him yelling through the doors. He would go on to talk about the incident afterwards on ESPN. There's a culture in the league that you keep everything in-house, Marshall said in an interview on First Take. But for me, last year, I just felt like we were going on 10 years in the league. It's time to get it. And I felt like I was the only one in the organization that had the huevos to hold him accountable. It didn't go the way I wanted it to go, and I think there are some things I could take back.
This is the last time I'm gonna talk about this. Okay. We didn't talk during the year much. We still haven't talked. And that's sad. That's sad. I don't think there's anybody in the league that had more chemistry than us.
Well, I guess Marshall at least almost took responsibility for his questionable remarks to and about his teammate, Richard Sherman on Russell Wilson. They may have split up by the time these comments were made, but whew, they were so cutting, we simply had to include them. After all, when Richard Sherman talks, people listen. And when he throws shade, he does it with the precision that he played cornerback with. There was a time where it seemed like he and Russell Wilson were nothing more than teammates on a Seahawks squad that dominated the NFL and even took home a Super Bowl ring. But by the time Sherman moved on to the 49ers, it was pretty clear the love was lost. In fact, there may have never been much of a relationship at all. This became clear when a reporter alluded to what Russell Wilson is capable of prior to a matchup with Sherman's 49ers, to which the surly quarterback responded, "Yeah, I've also seen him throw 5 picks in a game, so you see what he's capable of on both sides of it. You understand that he can be defeated." This tension had been simmering for years, with rumors that Sherman and other defensive players felt Wilson was getting too much credit for the team's success. Aaron Rodgers on young Packers receivers. If you know anything about Aaron Rodgers, then you know he does not suffer in silence, especially when it comes to issues with his receivers. And that, over the years, Rodgers has developed countless young receivers into stars, and he's also never been shy about holding his teammates to an extremely high standard. In 2022, the rubber met the road when Rodgers was tasked with leading a crop of young wideouts, and oh boy, let's just say that he wasn't exactly impressed. Rodgers very publicly criticized the group, saying that they were making far too many mental mistakes and that if they didn't clean it up, they wouldn't be on the field.
Young receivers, we got to be way more consistent. A lot of drops, a lot of bad route decisions. Run the wrong route, keep dropping the ball, you're not going to be out there.
Yeesh, talk about leadership. Terrell Owens on Tony Romo. I guess Jeff Garcia can take some solace in the fact that he wasn't the only quarterback catching shrapnel from Terrell Owens throughout the years. Even a guy that Owens reportedly loved, like Tony Romo, could catch a stray. The incident, unsurprisingly, stemmed from the wide receiver thinking that he wasn't getting enough attention during games. Owens had always been a guy who wanted the ball in his hands, and after the loss, he made it clear that he felt the Cowboys would have had a better shot at winning if he had been more involved. "I'm a competitor and I want the ball," Owens said. "Everybody recognized that I wasn't really getting the ball in the first half." Yeah, not quite the same level of hate that he had for Garcia, but definitely not what you want your star receiver doing in the media after games. Freddy Mitchell on Donovan McNab. Freddy Mitchell is a name that doesn't come up much in the conversation of all-time great receivers. But when it comes to trash-talking his own quarterback, oh boy, he is right up there with the best of them. Mitchell's relationship with Donovan McNab was rocky, to say the least, as he never felt like McNab trusted him enough, aka he wanted more targets. And in the lead-up to Super Bowl 39, he let the world know how he felt, airing he and his old teammates' dirty laundry. "Things that I would do for him to try and win him over. I would damn near try to babysit his kids," Mitchell said. "Stay in Friday nights and babysit his children so he could go out and have fun and come back home." And it didn't stop there. He would later tell TMZ Sports,
"When I know that somebody is not throwing me the ball on purpose, they're being vindictive, it had to cost me at least between $20 to $40 million. It cost me a second contract."
Yeah, whatever. Okay, Freddy. Kelvin Benjamin on Cam Newton. Kelvin Benjamin's NFL career did not exactly go as planned, and in 2018, he decided to take some of his frustrations out on his former quarterback, Cam Newton. After being traded from the Panthers to the Bills, Benjamin didn't hold back in a candid interview, saying that he would have been more successful if he had been drafted by a team with basically any other accurate quarterback. Kelvin Benjamin had already been chased out of Carolina, soon to be out of the league when he made these comments, but man, that is a tough look for a guy with an uninspiring career resume. For a player who had struggled with consistency and injuries, this was a bold claim, especially because Benjamin had enjoyed some success with Newton, including a 1,000-yard rookie season. But after a torn ACL sidelined him in 2015, the year Newton won MVP and led the Panthers to the Super Bowl, well, it appeared that their relationship had soured. But which NFL players do you think worst threw their teammates under the bus? Were there any cases in which it was deserved? Who did we nail it with? Was there anyone that we may have missed? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.